Bienvenue à l'émission de hockey. Aujourd'hui, nous parlons des Canadiens de Montreal. Et qui est le meilleur joueur? And I'm going to tell you exactly why I think they're the best. And no, I did not just read that off of a screen. So, the Canadiens is a team with a bunch of young guys on it. Not a lot of superstars of old. Not a lot of guys of old times past. Kind of like where Chicago. If you remove Taves and Kane, then it'd be kind of hard. And that's kind of the situation here. Where if they traded away DeBrincat and Doc, and they trade away Kane and Taves, this is kind of the team that I'd be left with trying to review. Is some young guys that are making a name for themselves that don't have that team around them to bump them up to that level. Well, I guess they different circumstances, but you get the point I'm trying to get here. So, not a lot of top old guys to carry the young guys. So, who are the young guys leading this team, and who of them is the best? And I'm wearing a hat for this video, because why the hell not? So, let's start off with the newly crowned captain, Nick Suzuki. Now, the guy that supposedly is the next Patrice Bergeron, which I hate people comparing players like that, because it's always just wrong. Someone like Bergeron, I get they're on a winning team, and this is the worst team in the league. He was a minus 29, which is worse than like other guys around him on his team. So not a very defensively minded forward, may I say. Same thing goes for Mark Stone. That's an entirely different thing. But this year, he had 21 goals, 40 assists, 61 points. He's named the captain. This was his best year yet in the NHL. Last season, he had 41 points. The year before, he also had 41 points, which is kind of interesting. He's stuck in a digit, then a 1, so that's kind of funny. But this has been his best year, and he's just climbing in. Then one thing that always points out to me is what are the context? What is the setting that these guys are getting their points in? That's what I like to look at sometimes. And when I'm looking at this team, the thing that makes me jump out and be like, hell yeah, is that Nick Suzuki was doing this on the Canadiens. His best season yet was on the team the year the Canadiens were their worst with 61 points. So that's pretty inspirational to me. This guy, 61 points in the year where the team around him was bad, is when he gets that. So, good on him. He's growing. He's going to be a huge guy. Huge star. Well, not huge guy. He's not a huge guy, but he's going to be a huge star. And I just like to see the team around him get better, including the likes of none other than Cole Caulfield. Now, Cole Caulfield, we all know the story about him, right? Goal scorer in the playoffs, huge breakout, and then during the beginning of last season, kind of didn't find any footing. I'm going to take this off. Couldn't find any footing to really to just get start. He couldn't get the engine running, right? They sent him to the AHL. He comes back, and he leads the team with 23 goals, 20 assists for 43 points. Pretty good year for Cole Caulfield. A goal scorer, getting 40 points overall, leading the team when he only played 67 games. He kind of compared. I know this is stupid, but he kind of compares to some of the situations I run into in NHL, where you take some time to get going, and then when you start, you're doing really well. Same thing goes for him. What happens when he kicks off at the beginning of the season until after going through the drama of being sent to the AHL, coming back? What happens when he doesn't go through that and he starts off right away? This guy, he's obviously like 35 goals. If he could have started off early instead of playing only 67 games and part of those was him not finding his footing. Let's say instead he plays 75 games and he gets off the running early. 35 goals. This guy, I wouldn't be surprised. I love Cole Caulfield. I don't think he'll ever be like a points machine, but he will be a goal scoring machine. 23 goals he got 23 goals on a bad team after going through drama at the beginning of the year. I want to see what this guy can do, and I think that's going to be helped a lot by the fact that he's got a new guy, Juraj Slafkovsky, coming in for him. And the thing that I think works perfectly great for Slafkovsky and the rest of the guys up above him is that I'd assume that he's going to play on the top line. I assume that he would. If I was the coach, if I was the GM, or whoever needs to be in charge for this decision, I would put him on the top line with these two guys. Because Cole Caulfield, we know, he's 5'7", not the biggest guy. Nick Suzuki, I think he's only 5'11", still not the biggest guy. So you put in Juraj Slafkovsky, the 6'4" giant he's got some weight to him as well. I think he's 218. He is a perfect fit for that final third guy on that top line. Put him there, and he's the guy that's going to drive to the net, and he's going to pick up those goals. Imagine this scene playing out, and this is when I would write on my board, but I don't want to have to mess everything up. But in the season, I'll do it. That's going to be coming. In the season, I will be drawing out plays and stuff. Look forward to that, because that's when I get really entertaining. So, could you imagine Suzuki comes into the line. He grinds through the neutral zone, gets it to Caulfield. Caulfield looks, rips it at the net, rebounds Slafkovsky with his huge side, barrels in, buries the puck. Just like that, and that is how I imagine they're going to score a ton of goals this year. I think Slafkovsky will be the finishing guy as well as the shooter guy, because he can do both. And I wouldn't be surprised this guy picks up a lot of assists, because he's going to just be beating at the door. He's going to push the puck free, and then someone buries the puck. This type of guy is perfect fit to go along with a guy like Caulfield, who can just score goals, and a guy like Suzuki, who's just that all-around player. So Slafkovsky is going to be a perfect fit here. But the only thing that makes me question it is, of course, will he play on the top line? Will he play in the NHL this year? I assume he would. But a guy that will and kind of does the same thing already is Kirby Dach. Is 6'4" as well. He's a lot lighter. Well, not a lot. Whatever. Than Slafkovsky, but he's 6'4". The same thing goes for him, except the only thing that gives him a boost is that he has that NHL experience already. And I think that might put him in a better position to be that guy already, depending on what happens with Slafkovsky. So I feel like the same thing goes for either way. For me, I would rather go with Juraj instead of Dach, but if the tables turn a certain way and that I can't see for the future right now, then I would say the same thing goes for Dach. And I think it'd be great. So same thing goes for both of them. Only 21 points though but that's kind of, he's on the Blackhawks, so not really a lot you can do with it. And he's going to a bad team again. So anyways, another guy that I wanted to put on the board, but I ran out of room and I couldn't convince myself to make any, is I wanted to shout out Sean Monahan, a guy that we know is way overpaid. But it's not like he does absolutely nothing. He played 65 games for 20-something points. Not the worst thing in the world. I think, personally, I've always thought the Flames were kind of not the right fit for him. And I think he was kind of always I don't want to say cast out, but I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is for him. But I just feel like he never really fit along with the Flames system, especially as guys like Kachuk and Lindholm started to rise along with Goudreau was always good. So I feel like he's kind of pushed aside, and maybe on a new team, in a new setting, in a new city, and a new spark, maybe a big chip on his shoulder because of what he's been going through. Maybe he goes in there and he's like, I'm going to turn my career around. You guys think I'm the biggest loser in the world. You trade me for nothing. I'm going to show that I am worth everything and that the Canadiens fleeced you. And he goes there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. He's not a bad player. I just think he just doesn't find. Sometimes I feel like certain guys just need to find their right spot on a team, and maybe this is where he needs to be with the Canadiens. I feel like he's the type of guy that could fit as long as he found the right spot. So I think he's gonna do better. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a bounce back year and he surprises us all with like 50 points, which I know isn't incredible, but that's not bad for Sean Monahan. So I think that'd be great, but I have to award someone with the star. And of course, that's the Green Star of Greatness. So, out of these guys on the board, who would I give the Green Star of Greatness to? Who would I say is their best player? Do we got the new captain Suzuki leading the team in points for last year at least, and is the new captain. However, he's a minus 29 for being a certain type of player. Cole Caulfield, the goal scorer with the drama last year. Will he find his footing? Slafkovsky, will he make an impact? Or Kirby Dach, will he play good? Let's me see. Well, I feel like Kirby Dach is kind of boring, so I'm going to wipe him out of contention. Cole Caulfield, as much as he might be the best goal scorer on the team, I don't think he would be the best overall player. And Nick Suzuki has proven that he is going to be that he is the solid all-around good player. So it's between him and this who-knows candidate in Slafkovsky. But personally for me, the guy that gives me more intrigue and just more reliability, I have to go with Nick Suzuki. Now, Nick Suzuki is not who I want to pick. I really want to pick Slafkovsky. But even if Slafkovsky comes in and is a huge impact player, I still feel like Nick Suzuki might be pushed aside out of the limelight of the news. Slafkovsky might be like, he gets 40 points and everyone's like, what a great year for Slafkovsky, even on a bad team like the Canadiens. And I think that'd be big. And I think Cole Caulfield already kind of gets that news already just for being who he is. And I think Nick Suzuki will kind of be pushed aside out of the limelight, even though he will lead those three guys in points. And I think that's how that's going to go. So Nick Suzuki, who I pick for insurance. I think Slafkovsky will be a huge breakout. I don't think he's going to fail. Caulfield, I think, is going to lead the team in goals again, unless it's him. Or Doc could make a huge impact as well. But that's all I have to say about the Montreal Canadiens, the Canadiens de Montreal. And I guess if you like this video in my French, make sure you pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button. If you liked it, leave a like, not a dislike, but go down in the comments and tell me how wrong I am. Tell me how Cole Caulfield or David Savard is actually the best player on this team. I want to hear all about it down below, how stupid I am for picking Nick Suzuki, even though I don't think you're going to disagree with me. So thank you for watching this. Until next time, I've been your dapperly dressed host, Owen. Until next time, I hope you have an amazing day today. Too sweet. And ta-ta for now. Get some things in my eye.